Council meeting of the District of Clearwater to order for Friday, January 31st, 2025 at 4 p.m. I would like to begin by acknowledging we're fortunate to be gathering together on the unceded territory of the Sim people who have been caretakers of this land since time immemorial. There is the adoption of the agenda. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Frizzle, seconded by Councillor Bratton. All those in favor, the agenda is adopted. So how this is going to work today. First off, I'm going to read the actual recommendation. I'm going to state that pro and con speakers, the first pro and con speaker, will have 5 minutes to present. After that, any further comments after that, try to keep it to 2 minutes or under and keep it on topic, please. If it strays off topic into things other than what we're discussing today in this recommendation, I reserve the right to halt proceedings. We'll just go with that. Please be civil. I know this is a hot button issue, but we're all here to just get business done, okay? Thank you. We also do not consent to private recordings of this event. This will be live streamed. It will be on the record live stream on Facebook for those that want to do that. Thank you. So I'll begin by reading this. The recommendation is, whereas liquor licensing and enforcement falls under provincial jurisdiction, and whereas restaurants operating in British Columbia require a permit from the presiding provincial health authority, Interior Health being that one here, and whereas non-enforcement of provincial laws fosters non-compliance with and disrespect for the law, now therefore be it resolved that the District of Clearwater calls on the Province of British Columbia to uphold the rule of law in the District of Clearwater, and that Council directs staff to prepare and send a letter to the Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor General, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of the Attorney General, and our local member of the Legislative Assembly, urging them to enforce the province's liquor licensing and health regulations within the District of Clearwater. I will now turn it over to staff. Staff has a brief staff report. Thank you. It might not be that brief, actually.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will try to keep it brief. So this came before us as a result of a complaint that was made by a group of compliant restaurant owners to the Liquor Control Regulation Branch. Related to 52 Ridge restaurants selling liquor without a license. So they received the attached response from the LCRB, which was problematic from the perspective of staff. So the response essentially said that the complaint does not fall under the LCRB's mandate, with the reasoning is that 52 Ridge no longer holds a valid liquor license. So the point of my little report what's coming up is a review of the Liquor Control and Licensing Act. Staff did not feel that the response from the LCRB reflects that act correctly. So under the LCRB, and I'm not going to go through every section of the act because it's quite long, and I'm going to try to deal with the ones that are relevant to this particular situation. So under section 8.2, and remember that number, section 8.2, except as provided under this act or the Liquor Distribution Act, a person must not personally or otherwise keep liquor for sale or sell liquor, solicit, receive, or take orders for the sale of purchase or liquor, or act as agent for its sale or purchase, and must not purchase or, in consideration of the sale, transfer or take liquor from another person. So note that first line in that 8.2 said a person must not, personally or otherwise. It doesn't say a person with a license. It says a person must not. So for the purposes under section 42, for the purposes of the administration or enforcement of this act or the regulations, the general manager may require a person to produce records that contain information related to goods or liquor transported or received for transport in BC, As well, the general manager may inspect one or more of the following: records referred to in paragraph A and B, the establishment of or event site and operations carried on there, a person's premises that are used for the storage of liquor, and records found in an establishment or at an event site or the premises referred to in subparagraph 3, which are associated with the operation of the establishment. So that's the general manager's powers in there. In conducting an inspection under subsection number 1, the general manager may request and receive the assistance of a peace officer. So typically that means the RCMP. So one of the issues that it keeps seeming to come up is the role of the RCMP in the role of the peace officers. So section 45 actually answers that. So in this section, which is liquor kept contrary to the act, if the general manager or a peace officer finds liquor that in the general manager's or peace officer's opinion is possessed and kept contrary to this act. I am so sorry. Which is kept contrary to this act, the Liquor Distribution Act, or the regulations under either of those acts, the general manager or peace officer may immediately seize and remove it. So that's interesting. So it's not the general manager of liquor advising the police, it's that they have independent authority around that, as do the peace officers. And they may seize and remove the liquor, the packages containing it, and the records related to the liquor. Finally, there's a bunch more sections, but in section 57, the offenses and penalties, a person who commits an offense under this act in respect of section 8.2, which we said was any person selling liquor, in the case of a corporation is subject to a fine of not more than $100,000. In the case of an individual who is a licensee, to a fine of not more than $100,000 or to imprisonment of not more than 12 months. In the case of an individual who is not a licensee, to a fine of not more than $50,000 or to imprisonment of not more than 12 months. So I think what those reflect is that this regulation not only applies to licensed but also to unlicensed sellers and vendors of liquor, which is what is being alleged in this case. So I think it shows that maybe the view taken by the Liquor Control and Regulatory Body in that letter responding to the complaint was a bit too narrow of a view, and that's what staff would contend. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of staff on this before we move to public presentation/comments? If not, key presenters from either side. Who wants to start? Anybody? Okay, thank you. Come up and please state your name for the record, and then fire away when you're ready.
My name is Susan Ward, and I'm here to read a statement from the group of compliant business owners of Clearwater. We are a group of hardworking individuals who own businesses in tourism and hospitality in Clearwater. We are looking for equality in business practices and regulation in Clearwater and clarification of the laws surrounding liquor resale and health permitting. We are here to voice our concerns regarding equal law enforcement for businesses in Clearwater. Our questions have come to light through observation and local discussions surrounding the 52 Ridge restaurant owned by Mr. Dean Clifford. We will be using this business as an example to highlight the lack of equality and regulation. 52 Ridge restaurant has been operating without a liquor license since the 13th of September 2022, when it was removed due to Mr. Clifford not meeting the requirements of being able to hold a liquor license in BC. 52 Ridge restaurant has been operating without an interior health permit since June of 2023. This was removed due to lack of compliance. 52 Ridge has been allowed to operate these 3 years illegally and without a business license, and it has faced no enforcement or repercussions. In addition to being a health risk and having an establishment that is unregulated poses a large safety risk to the residents of Clearwater and the many tourists who are unaware of the non-compliance of this establishment. There is potential for patrons being overserved and driving or causing harm to others on the roads. There is a risk of the lack of regulation, due to lack of regulation, that minors will also be served. The food-related illness adds extra strain to our local healthcare system, which is already facing challenges. All of the regulatory branches claim to be aware of this illegal operation. The Liquor Board stated in an email that because 52 Ridge has no liquor license, that the LCRB has no legal authority or jurisdiction regarding unlicensed establishments. They have, however, indicated that the RCMP can enforce under the Liquor Control and Licensing Act. The compliant business owners would like to see a level playing field again. All of our businesses have been affected in one way or another. We have lost much needed revenue, we have lost customers, we have lost employees who want cash rather than to contribute themselves to CPP, EI, etc. Mostly, though, we have lost our faith in the system and in our government officials whom we trust to uphold the law and order. Additionally, the compliant business owners want clarification of the laws surrounding liquor resale. We would like to know if, in fact, we do not require a liquor license or if an exemption is being made for another business. From what we have gathered and learned through licensing, it is in fact the law. If this is the case, we would like to see enforcement and rectification. Lack of enforcement has gone on for too long. It has cost us, the taxpayers, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, staffing hours, and has potentially taken even more tax dollars from the government through potential lack of corporation taxes, remittance of GST and PST. Please consider our opinions as good standing members of society and as business owners in this town that we have called home for many years, in some cases all of our years. Please use your power as elected officials to resolve these community safety issues and enforce the law. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Does somebody wish to speak from?
I'm wondering if she could just read out the names
Would you like the names of the restaurants read out for the record?
on record.
If you're okay doing that.
Certainly. The Gateway Grill, the Hop and Hog, the Hungry Hiker, the Old Caboose, the Painted Turtle, the Back 40 Restaurants, Tim Hortons Clearwater, Wildflower Cafe, Wells Gray Liquor Store, Best Western Clearwater, Quality Inn Clearwater, Wells Gray Inn, Bigfoot Trading Company, Borough Enterprises, and Clearwater Country Inn.
Thank you. Sorry. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. No, you're good to go. Does somebody wish to speak from the other side? Okay, call again. Does anybody wish to speak from the other side? If not, I will open it up to 2-minute comments or questions from the public. If you wish to make a comment or a question, please come to the podium, state your name, and we'll let you go forward from there. Wow, I was expecting a rush to the thing here, so. I mean, I told the popcorn salespeople that, they might, hang outside for quite a while because they were going to be a busy day here, but apparently that's not going to happen. Apparently the party is somewhere else from what I hear, but go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, Keith McNeil. I'm with freelancing for the Clearwater Times. Susan mentioned this has cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. Is that correct?
I cannot verify that, but I'll let staff speak to that.
So staff is not at liberty to release legal fees pertaining to one specific case. Have we spent money on legal fees? Yes. We're not at liberty to say what that is or how much of a percentage of the total legal fees. If someone is interested to get the most detail they can, then I would recommend that they send us in an information request, and we will then go through the process of working with the Freedom of Information people to determine the exact extent that we can give out. But at this point, that's what they would have to go through to get more information.
Further, Keith?
Yeah, I've been told that 52 Ridge is behind with its water fees, is that correct?
With its water.
Yeah.
That's correct at this point, yes, I believe.
So
Staff
how
is
much?
indicating yes.
Can you tell me how much?
I'll let staff speak to that. My understanding is that it rolls into taxes at the end of the year and then is compounded into that, but I'll let Ms. Klassen speak.
So for 2025, we haven't received payment yet, but although we just put 2025 invoices out, so I can't speak to it. But they do, when you don't pay your utility fees, it does roll over into your property taxes, so they've rolled over into property taxes.
So the water hasn't been cut off?
No.
Yeah, that's all for me.
Next, anybody? Okay, come on up and please state your name for the record.
My name is Beverly Lowers. It seems to me that there's a confusion here between what is lawful and what is legal. And the 52 Ridge is operating under constitutional law, whereas the council operates under corporate law, which is actually the law of the sea. So we're confusing two jurisdictions here, but the Liquor Board does seem to have it correct, that they are operating in the jurisdiction of commerce, which is the law of the sea. This whole issue could be resolved with some education to members of the public about what is actually lawful and what is legal. And I'm happy to address this with anybody who is interested in the topic. I am a student of the law, and I'm more than happy to address this because it comes up in many, many issues with regard to council work and the laws that have been enacted against the public in the past. I think it's something that needs to be a conversation that adults have. We know that there's been division in this community over very many things, and this, I do believe, is at the basis of it. I'm more than happy to make this a broader discussion if anybody wants to contact me about it.
Just yet, hold on a second. You have to come to the mic to speak, and thank you for your comments. Was there any staff comments on that, or you were just, no? Okay, thank you.
Hi there, my name is Terry Lynn McCauley for the record. I'm not currently, I'm a grade 12 graduate, not even. I was in a car accident when I was in grade 8, so I'm legally binded to Clearwater from the Vavenby Mill, which we all know, and the KOA has given me a place to go, which is where I feel welcome because of who I am. We play baseball together. Not a lot of people can get along with a, intimidated woman. I've put out my resume lots of places. My boss there, AJ, my old boss, we're great friends still. I appreciate him. I appreciate a lot of the other people in this town, and I'm very grateful, but I'm just saying that the KOA should stay. We're all human. That's it.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Any further comments from the public? Please state your name for the record.
My name is Zephyrin Petrick. I would just like to say that I had honestly just found out about this last night through an article from CFJC, and when I saw it and the things that I'm hearing today, I am quite shocked and appalled and quite frankly afraid, because their establishment is right down the street from where my wife and son live, where they walk everywhere because they don't have a vehicle and whatnot. It just leaves me very afraid and concerned, and I would hope that Clearwater as a community, we do the right thing, because it's important.
Thank you for your comments. Further comments or questions from the public? Call one more time. Actually, call two more times. Further comments or questions from the public? Okay, come on down. Please state your name for the record.
Mr. Clifford, for the record.
Thank you for the record.
So I have been invited here today by email, and that's why I'm here, because I was instructed in the email from Allsid Prime that whatever matter is being discussed here today specifically concerns the establishment you own and operate. And going through the agenda for today, the only thing I see is an email from the Liquor Board, or whatever they're called here, the LCIB, LCRB, in their response where the subject matter is 52 Ridge Restaurant. Other than that, it's unspecific. That could be absolutely anything. Does anybody have any clarity at all about what is being referred to in this email by 52 Ridge Restaurant?
I have to ask the liquor board. They were the response to that, but I could leave that to staff as well.
Does anybody, who do people say 52 Ridge Restaurant is?
Sorry, can you clarify
Who do
that?
people say 52 Ridge Restaurant is?
Who do people say that 52?
Who do you say 52 Ridge Restaurant is here? That's what you're here to address, apparently. I've heard it a couple times now.
It is
An establishment named 52 Ridge Restaurants. Can somebody clarify what that is, please?
I don't think I need to do that. It has signs up. It operates.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. So that's absolutely fine. And then the other assertion here is that it's something that I own and operate. So could somebody elaborate on exactly what I own, how I own it, who owns it, who's the legal owner, who's the equitable owner? What type of ownership is somebody claiming that I have?
Okay. Any comments from staff?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't think there was ever a claim by staff other than you were invited to the meeting because you represent 52 Ridge. I think that's about the extent of it. It wasn't a claim of a legal ownership, or we didn't do a title search to try to determine who to send it to. You're the person we've been receiving emails from on this topic. So when, due to natural justice, if you're talking about someone, you invite them to the meeting. That's the way we like to do meetings. So you were invited, and that's why it said owner and operator. It was not an attempt for to describe your legal position with regards to 52 Ridge. It was just an attempt. You've been speaking on their behalf to invite you to continue to do.
Okay. So is there anybody here then that's claiming to have an interest in 52 Ridge Restaurant, whatever that is?
Is there anybody here claiming to have an interest in 52 Ridge Restaurant? Nope. My watch apparently does.
Could someone define interest?
Would you like to define interest for the question that you're asking? It is your question.
Yep. That'd be standing, either ownership, legal, equitable, or otherwise.
I'd like to know. I'm interested in knowing who owns it, who runs the place.
Wouldn't that be on a business license?
That would be something for another time.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you have further?
Yeah, I did have, so let the record show then, and especially my record, because I do have an email where I was authorized to bring my own court reporter and record the proceedings myself as well too. And
Okay,
that's
that's
exactly
fine.
why we're recording, and that was
that's fine.
authorized.
Yep.
So that's for my record. Let the record show no one here is claiming any interest in whatever 52 Ridge Restaurant is. And aside from that, since we're here, does this council have, let me think of a proper way to phrase this. What interest does the District of Clearwater have in the civic address 373 Clearwater Valley Road, Clearwater, BC, V0E1N1?
Are we supposed to stay on topic?
Does it relate to, is that the civil address of the property that we're talking about?
I think that's being alleged.
Okay. What interest do we have? Yeah, I'd leave that to staff, but I mean, other than the collection of taxation and services.
Yeah, if the Dean could clarify that question a little bit, I don't quite understand it.
Well, what interest does the District of Clearwater have in the civic address 373 Clearwater Valley Road, Clearwater, BC, V0E1N1? Do you have any interest in that civic address?
Well, and how do you define interest? I'm sorry, I don't really still follow your question. Do we have a interest in the land, meaning an ownership of the land? Do we have an interest because we're interested in what happens on the property? Do we have an interest because it's part of the community that is represented? I don't understand your question. I'm sorry.
I made no mention of the land. I asked if the District of Clearwater has any interest in the civic address 373 Clearwater Valley Road, Clearwater, British Columbia, V0E1N1. Do you have either legal ownership or equitable ownership of the civic address?
Well, as far as the civic address, I know that the district has multiple ownerships of land within the district, and I don't have that information offhand of what specifically we have or how it ties to that. I know potentially there's road right-of-ways or other pieces. I don't have that information. I'm not prepared to answer that.
Can I get a commitment on how long it would take for the District of Clearwater to get back to me on whether or not they have legal or equitable ownership of the civic address, 373 Clearwater Valley Road, Clearwater, BC, V0E and 1N1?
Thank you. And you could send that request to our lawyer. I believe you've dealt with it.
I have.
Thank you. Further?
That's it.
Okay, thank you
There's
for your
nothing
comments.
for me to respond to here.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments or questions from the public? And come forward, state your name.
Yeah, Mr. Fullen, I just wanted to thank you all for convening this. Like this gentleman here, I wasn't aware that there was an establishment operating without a liquor license. I do think that's very dangerous, and I'll certainly be following up with my MLA and making sure that we as a community, I think, all want to see things done for the sake of safety, and that's the whole point of the laws that we create. It's pretty obvious to everybody that somebody just going around selling liquor whenever they want is not a safe and organized thing. So again, that's all. Appreciate keeping it vocal. Small community here, we like to know about it. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Any further comments from the public? Questions from the public? If I see none, then I will call the question. Council, there is a recommendation on the table. Do I have a mover and a seconder on that? Moved by Councillor Matheson, seconded by Councillor Frizzle. Any further discussion on this from council? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that passes. Motion to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Councillor Frizzle, seconded by Councillor Bratton. All those in favor? And we are adjourned. Thank you for the meeting today. That's it, people. Thank you for coming out.